Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Jeremiah, Silver, Linda. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome on in. How's everybody doing today? You made it. You made it. We can close. We can hide this for now. Choo. How's everybody doing today? Yo. What's up, Philip? How's it going, buddy? It's Friday. Friday, baby. It's Friday, baby. We all made it. Not sure how, but we made it. Woo woo. Lovely day here. Good. It's going to be a hot day here, and I'm not looking forward to it. Be much better after 5. Feel that. Counting down the days until September 22nd. What's September 22nd? Is that a date I should know? If I should. Oh. Did you guys see the video? Oh, first Tyler. Is September 22nd? It's going to be that close to the election? Is the first one? Wait, they're doing 3 debates that close? Dang. Crazy. That's wild. Trying to think if there was any real interesting. I feel like trying to figure out what I think MAGA is going to come in with their talking points today. If it were my guess, it's probably having to do with the supposed deal that the whatever of peace has made with Hamas, which oh, that's right. You got that convention. I forgot about that. Stephen A. Smith is angry that Fauci pleaded the fifth. Can't plead the fifth 111 times. Actually, you can. Actually, you can. Welcome to a constitutional right. Grinder will crash those days. Yeah. It is wild that they're trying to hold him in contempt of Congress for doing that, thinking that his pardon removed his Fifth Amendment rights completely. I don't think that's how it works. It actually means that it does mean he needs to be more careful, which is what he's doing. Hawley, of course. Josh freaking Hawley. I wonder if he felt that way when Trump did it over 400 times. I'm gonna guess no, but crazier things have happened. World has the crazy started yet? Nope, not yet. Not yet. Hey Jamie, there's part of me that wants to put Fauci for president on TikTok right now and see how much people flip out. But I don't think that would help my claim to bring more conversation into the world, unfortunately. That would be the epitome of rage bait. Oh, they would lose their minds. They would lose their shit. Fauci for head of HHS. Oh, gosh. I would be willing to put Fauci over RFK Jr. I keep waiting for one of them to tell me what Fauci did that was illegal. I mean, people don't think about the fact that he has been before Congress dozens of times. Like, he was brought before Congress. They didn't ask anything new. What do they claim he did exactly? Help fund the lab that released the COVID virus. Used NIH funds to fund the lab where people think that it came from. Silver, I don't. Now you're trying to look for logic. That's a completely different problem. Fauci did what he had to do. Rand Paul was not interested in the truth, but rather to forge Fauci, perjure himself, thus opening himself up to charges beyond what he was pardoned for. True. Hey, Candace. That's true, Scott. That is very true. Again, I'm not telling people they need to like Fauci. I'm not saying Fauci did everything perfectly, but what's going on is idiotic. You know, they were talking about the fact that Paxton hasn't done a debate in like over a decade and how he's going to get like roasted. That is true, Maisie. Fauci has a brain, RFK doesn't. Guys, RFK is too busy having hosting his cooking show that I'm pretty sure the federal government is paying for. Which means we're paying for it. What's a good news source to get caught up on events? What do you mean? There's not really a good news source to get caught up on current events. There's not a lot of good news going on. Most news sources have good news in there. There's just not a lot going on right now. Sure, there are bits and pieces here and there. There's no such thing as unbiased. I use an app called what is it called? Smart News, that gives me a very broad. It pulls from everything, but all news sources are biased. Every single one of them. It's impossible not to be. Congress must vote on only single issue bills. It just won't happen. Hey, Kevin. There's too many issues. They need to do their bills better. I don't mind multi-issue bills as long as it's handled correctly. And you can't just push it through like they're doing. Interesting Fox poll on Texas. Talerico up 3, up 6 among likely voters, which is an important number, yeah. I mean, in an ideal world, Congress would vote only on single issue bills, but I think there'd have to be a lot of other changes in the way we did our government before something like that could happen. I think that is not as big of an issue as some of the other things that we're dealing with currently. IQ and civics tests for voting voting, that would be considered a poll tax. Holding public office, I think to hold public office, you should understand government, and not an IQ test. Having a high IQ doesn't matter if it's free. That's a barrier. It's considered a different kind of poll tax. They call it a poll tax, it just means it's a barrier. There should be barriers to voting, not according to the Constitution. But I guess that I did ask what you would want the 28th Amendment to be, so tell that to a Class A felon. There unfortunately is nothing in Congress in the Constitution that does not allow a Class A felon to become president. Did I watch the Fauci thing? Yes, I did. It was ridiculous. Oh, to vote? I mean, every state is a little different on it. Oh, he did way better than RFK could have. It was absolutely just theater. 100%. If you broke your oath to uphold the Constitution, you should be removed immediately. I mean, I'd be interested to see how we would go about actually enforcing that, but I mean, sure. Explained poll tax to my MAGA mother. Her answer was, "Oh, I just won't vote then." Hey, Dennis. Yes. Yes, I am. I just realized I need to vote early for November's elections. I'm forced to be in New York City on election day. Ah. Well, that should be a fun place to be. Popular vote only for presidential elections. I was thinking about it when I wrote this thing. I sort of agree. I would obviously get rid of the Electoral College. I like the idea of coalition government. So if someone by popular vote doesn't get above 50%, then they can make a coalition with other groups, that other parties that ran, in order to get above 50%. It felt nice to hear actual medical talk. That's fair. Popular vote for president and repeal Citizens United. Getting money out of politics. Would love that. Would love it. Would love it. Good morning, Kelsey. There should be a mechanism where people can remove any sitting official at any moment. There should be a mechanism for the people that voted in a representative to remove that representative. 100% agree. What's my opinion on the whole thing yesterday? It was a dog and pony show that had no real purpose. There was no purpose to it. It was idiotic. Formalized parliamentary system with runoffs, president becomes prime minister like position, and bureaucracy and military personnel can't be fired without consent of House committee. Interesting. Oh yeah. Well, and again, Hawley saying, man, someone who's got something to hide, someone who doesn't have anything to hide wouldn't use the Fifth Amendment. And when Rady said that, I was like, so obviously you think that the president is guilty when he used the Fifth Amendment over 400 times, right? That's, again, this is the problem. You cannot like it all you want, but if you're not willing to hold both sides to the same standard, then it's all bullshit. Oh, it's always better than, almost anything is better than hearing RFK Jr. talk. I saw some clips from his cooking show, and I about threw up. Oh, it was total political theater. Might not like it, but it's a constitutional right. Sure. Yeah. If it weren't for double standards, MAGA wouldn't have any standards at all. A chainsaw is more melodic than RFK. I cannot argue that. There's no way that 20% of the population should be voting in 60% of the Senate. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Honestly, if we ended up making a parliamentary system, we wouldn't need the Senate. I mean, right now it's not politically possible to pass an amendment. Like dating someone and having double standards doesn't happen. The Constitution's not worthless. It's just the statement that the Constitution is a living document is worthless. Oh, the Fauci thing? Oh, hell yeah. I love watching MAGA come in and lose their shit. It's hilarious. The first one's not. The first one's the one I want to talk about. But the other one, yeah, it's just to watch MAGA come in and lose their shit. No confidence system removal for Senate positions and the president work great with the House of Representatives, way more balanced. Maybe. I mean, I would rather have Fauci over RFK Jr. I mean, it's true. But yeah, the fact that I put it there, total rage bait. Ban all inside trading and stocks from all corporations. Again, I will say this again and again and again. I think the worst thing that could have happened to this country was the initiation of the stock market. Good morning, Kat. SNL's gonna have fun with it. Yeah, they are. Someone didn't invest. Sure, you're allowed to think that. I know lots of people that have benefited from Wall Street that agree that Wall Street is one of the worst things that happened in terms of economically for all of society. It pushed capitalism to a point where most of the wealth went to a very few. I hate my baby face. Yeah, I don't like how I look when I shave, but oh yeah, RFK wishes he was a doctor. Age limits for all politicians at 65. Term limits for all people in Congress. Yep. Biggest issue right now is SCOTUS has basically made administration of law defunct because executive can use any agent in a mundane agency as Joe Pesci patronage card. Yeah, I mean, I think definitely changing SCOTUS would help too. So many I know so many healthcare professionals that are flipping out right now. It's bad. Yeah, did you hear the reporting, Carol, where Taylor Farms actually lobbied the president to hold off on releasing the warning about the lettuce? If I wanted to retire now, I would have 5 million to retire. Okay. You aren't the only person. Heard rumors, and yeah, very suspicious that they had a positive result, and then, oh man, yeah, just kidding, false. Yep. Goodbye Electoral College. Yep. Balanced budget amendment. See, I think making an amendment requiring a balanced budget makes it hard. I guess it depends how it was written. I agree that we should have a balanced budget. I also think that there would have to be things that could deal with unplanned things, you know? Because I invested very well over the past. Yeah, it's not because you invested very well over the past 30 years and didn't blow your money. Because you were privileged. Because you grew up in an era where it was possible to do that. What's up, buddy?
Hi, good morning.
The Constitutional Commission establishing a right to health care. I mean, it might be nice to have an amendment in there that established what are considered human rights and what are considered, you know, what we as a society decide is a human right. As opposed to the generic, you know, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and trying to make.
There's a couple of things that are being mentioned that I don't know if you would need a constitutional amendment for. The healthcare thing is very interesting. We could pass universal healthcare without a constitutional amendment. You don't even need to go there. You just need to take power of the House, Senate, and presidency, and we could get it done.
I think,
yeah.
I think the reason people say it, and it's something that I understand, is that there's this idea, especially because of what this administration has done, that unless it's in the Constitution, it has very little staying power. I think that's just what a lot of people feel. Whether that's true or not, I can't obviously speak for everyone, but I think that's I think that's what people are feeling right now, and that's probably why they're going that way. And that's why I in sometimes feel that way. Like, if there's anything that I feel is important, it needs to be a constitutional amendment, or, you know, in 15 years, someone somewhere is going to, you know, some shitty actor is going to find a way to get around it. Because there were a lot of
Yeah,
things we thought were protected and now aren't.
true. But the Republicans have been after Social Security since 1933, and they haven't been able to get it yet. And when a program is popular, they don't touch it.
I know.
But and also you have to weigh, Mike. And I realize today's construct is sort of fun. Make up your own 28th Amendment. I get that, but the reality of why I think it should be done through Congress is we're not going to get any amendments. The votes aren't there for an amendment saying "mom and apple pie" are great things. It wouldn't pass.
I understand that, but that wasn't the point of the question. Was what we think would get passed.
I know. It's sort of pick your minds, have some fun with it. I get that, but in terms of national health care, I think there's a route to that wouldn't require
That's true.
changing the Constitution.
Mike P. Fauci did not lie about everything, and for everyone who is going to come in here and complain about him pleading the fifth, I hope you had that same energy when the president pleaded the fifth over 400 times in a deposition. Because again, if you aren't willing
Donald Trump pleaded the fifth 440 times in New York. I didn't hear any complaining then.
Democrats sit there with their hand out trying to steal from the American people. Okay.
Well, that's interesting, Rick. 80% of the healthcare subsidies went to red states. Did you know that? Of course you didn't. Another interesting factoid that you'll promptly ignore is that the vast majority of people on Medicaid live in the red states, 30% of the entire populations. So who's got whose hand out? And by the way, the blue states pay into the red states. The red states are takers, not producers.
And no, Democrats don't want illegals to vote. And actually, there is no proof that any great number have ever voted. And the ones that have are illegal and should be deported and arrested. That's how it works.
Well, gee, if I had to pick one, I guess you can only have one constitutional amendment. So you got to make a good one.
Yeah.
I would go with abolishing the Electoral College. That'd be my first step.
I would make it a two-part that would abolish the Electoral College and require a coalition government. So
parliamentary system.
Well, just to the point where, so this idea that maybe more parliamentary, yeah, I guess parliamentary system.
So you would have a leader of a party chosen by the party and not through primaries, and then you would, because that's what a parliamentary system does, whether they're in office or out of office, they're already ready to go because they're the head of a political party. And then if that party took power, that person ipso facto becomes president/prime minister, which is he would have the functions, or she would have the functions of a prime minister.
Yep. I think what I have seen from our system is that we as a society put too much on the president, in the sense of too much value, too much everything. If we really want a Congress whose job is to speak and fight and represent the people, we need something that actually allows that to happen and doesn't allow one person to prevent that from happening. That's my opinion, of course.
But. Yeah. And I also have often thought that a parliamentary system would have been the better way to go. But you realize, ipso facto, if you have a parliamentary system, by definition, you're getting rid of separation of powers. Congress wouldn't have separate powers. Congress would be part of that parliamentary system, voting the party line. They have strict voting with a parliamentary system.
Yeah, and maybe something else would need to go, but or maybe it would need to be different than just that. I just think that the way we're doing it, it's not working. It goes back to what I said yesterday. And maybe an amendment is not where you sit there and say, we just got to try something. But unfortunately, especially when it comes to our election systems, you can't, to some extent, the only way to fix some of these things is through an amendment. So it's hard to say it's like at some point it's still just trying. So I don't know how you would handle it, but no, I hear you. Well, I understand there are issues with it too.
Well, I'm not arguing about it.
Yeah.
I think that separation of powers has stopped working some time ago.
Yeah.
We're operating under the majority party in Congress supports their president as opposed to supporting the institutional integrity of Article 1 in the Congress itself. And our system was designed not for political parties, but that Congress would have separate powers from the executive branch, and there would be a natural tension between the two of them. And that was the type of government that we deliberately wanted. Instead, what we've got is a pseudo-parliamentary system whereby Congress votes lockstep in charge with their chief executive. So in effect, separation of powers is sort of ended anyway. Has Congress asserted its authority much very lately? Nope. I haven't seen it.
Nope. So yeah, that's fair. I would, AJ. Even we should be able to vote on picking the party nominees.
Yeah, I believe he's referring to a parliamentary system whereby the members of the party would choose their own head like they do in Britain and other parliamentary systems. There's not primaries to pick the party head. It's done by the party itself, members of the party.
Popular vote of no confidence for the entire cabinet. See, that's the thing. You don't need it for the cabinet if you can get that for everything else, because if everyone who we already vote in has the ability for us to take them, to remove them, then their cabinet, by the very nature of the fact that they can remove the person who put them into office, has the capability of doing that.
Yeah, if you had a parliamentary system, you would have, as part and parcel of a parliamentary system, a vote of no confidence, but that's the entire government falls when you have a vote of no confidence. So you don't have to make it specific to cabinet members. The new prime minister / president would pick his own cabinet.
And Mac, we absolutely should have locked down. That was the states that chose to ignore or end their lockdown early are the ones that suffered the most from the pandemic.
Because right now in our system, at the federal level at least, you don't have recall elections, although many states do have recall elections for state officers.
And I think all offices should have the capability of recall election.
Yeah.
I think the people that voted them in should have the ability to remove them if they show that they did not do like anything that they were
Well, a recall election is for a good reason, a bad reason, or no reason at all. You can't tell the voters you can only recall for this, that, and the other thing.
I understand
they have the right of recall.
I understand that.
And understand that by necessity means yeah, you have a 4-year term for president of the United States, but it's 4-year term with a caveat
Yeah.
if you don't get recalled.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm against it. I sort of like the idea, but it would change our structure of governance quite a lot.
Recall election is so stupid. Okay. Yes, Vince, I have heard about that community in Arkansas. Yep. Marking decide what the election's over. Well, what's the word? Not polling. But yeah, campaigns are marketing strategies. They talk to people and find out what things give them what they try and figure out what topics give them the better chance of being voted for. Tom, this president hasn't kept one of their promises. Literally not one of them. Not one.
Yeah, that was an interesting comment, wasn't it? And apparently the poster of that comment has no sense of irony.
Hey, Chrissy. I would make it way harder to regiment around the executive if he can be recalled. I mean, again, which is why, to an extent, I don't want the president to be the way a president is right now. I would want to change it where they do have some authority, but our Congress or our parliament had the authority to do things. The fact is in our current state, we've shown that it doesn't. The way we're doing it doesn't work. It just doesn't. And it's just going to be a lot of back and forth until we fix it.
Yeah, and I think the primary, there's a lot of reasons why it's not working the way we would hope it to work. But I think the primary reason, and something that will go a long way towards fixing things, would be if Congress would assert its own authorities under Article 1, as opposed to abdicating its responsibilities under Article 1. Congress is set to be, by our Constitution, is set to be the most powerful branch of government, more powerful than the executive and the judicial. We were taught in school that we have 3 separate but equal branches of government. That's hogwash. The founders wanted Congress to be the premier branch of government, also with an executive and judicial branch. But Congress was given most of the power, and they've stopped it. They've stopped using it. They have abdicated their power to the executive branch, and that sort of screws our entire system up.
So, Vince, here's the thing about this whole supposed fear of anchor baby and birthright and birth tourism thing that's going on. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. If there's any way that people can try and make money, they're going to try and do it. I think the problem I see, there's 2 problems I see with that. No, I don't think it needs to be reworded because I do not believe it is as big of a problem as is normally the case with the right that complains about things. I don't think it's as big of a problem as people are saying it is. That being said, if we want to fix the issues of people coming in, wanting to come here more, the best way to do it, and it was done during the Biden administration was find out the reason that so many people are coming and help the countries where most of those people are coming from to fix that situation so people don't feel like in order to have a better life, they need to come here. That's why people are doing it. Again, this comes down to empathy and humanity and, not being isolationist. If there's a reason that people are coming, let's figure out why and see if we can help with that problem in these countries to a point where they don't feel the need just for survival to come here. Instead of dehumanizing all of these people. We jump so fast in dehumanization when things happen that we don't like. And I hate that. They're human beings. Their blood is the same color as ours. They were just born in a different place by no choice of their own. Yeah, we got problems here that we need to fix, but dang it, if we're unaliving the cow for being in our yard when the reason it got in our yard was because we didn't take care of our fence. That's what we're doing.
That's a really good point, Mike. I too have been bothered by this. Well, but they're illegal. But they're illegal. What difference does it make? Their constitutional protections are in place, no matter how you're in this country. And there's legal ways to deport them, but there's this whole thought of if you're a quote illegal or use undocumented, you can be subject to unaliving. You can be subject to thrown in prison without a attorney. That's ridiculous. It doesn't matter what they are. It's dehumanizing, and that should be beneath us.
Oh, I think our immigration policies and systems haven't been updated for over 20 years. This is not a black and white fix. This is the other thing that I hate is for so many of these situations, we look at it as a black and white fix. It's not. It's a multi-layered fix. It's like onions. We're going Shrek here. Just like with almost everything, all the problems that we are experiencing in this country that we want to get better, there are layers to it. It's not just the outside. We got to get down to the core. We got to get down to the base of the problem. And if we don't fix the base, they're just going to keep rotting. Thank you. Thank you, Patty. I really appreciate you guys, all of you that help make it possible for me to keep doing what I'm doing here. It means more to me than you know. Just so you guys know who are here on TikTok, I'm also live on the Tube and on Twitch. If you have a Twitch account and you have Amazon Prime, you can actually sub for free over there. Helps me out. Or you can just watch the stuff that I post on the Tube. I just posted an interview 2 days ago with Adam Dunnigan, who's running for Virginia's 8th district, but we only talked a very little bit about his race. Most of what we talked about was Iran and the situation going on there and what it currently looks like and what the future may look like. It was a really good interview. And I would actually ask all of you if you wouldn't mind going over there and watching it. I would really appreciate it because I think it's a really good interview that people need to see, and the best way for people to see it is for people to watch it and comment on it and share it.
Well, I'll give a little plug for it. I did watch it, and it was one of your best, Mike.
Thank you.
If folks, if you're interested in hearing from a guy who used to work for the CIA, also was a Marine, also has a doctorate from Harvard in international relations,
Masters, not doctorate.
a master's, I'm sorry, has a master's in international relations from Harvard. In other words, this guy knows what he's talking about, and he goes into the Iran war in depth and has a lot of nuances that we haven't heard in the mainstream media or anywhere else for that matter. It's well worth your 40 minutes. And as I said yesterday, I know everybody has limited time. You can't watch every video all the time and still keep your sanity. I get that. We all have lives that we have to live outside of TikTok. But if you're only going to watch one, watch this one. It really was that good.
Thank you. It's actually the same name. It's the same name everywhere. It's just Breaking the Meta podcast. Got the same image, all of that stuff. And there's going to be some fun things coming up because obviously this is something that I want to keep doing full time, or I want to be doing full time. I'm not doing it full time now. And there will be some fun things coming up that you guys will be able to get a laugh out of. And, you know, we talk about a lot of serious stuff and sometimes we just need to laugh. And there's going to be some fun things coming up that I think will be good. So if you're not following over there, please do, because chances are when I do those, while I will be on TikTok for it, the way to interact more will be on either the Tube or Twitch, because those are designed more for those kind of things than this app is. This app gets weird when you start raising money because they don't like you pushing people to anywhere else other than their own place. I think ranked choice voting would be the best first step that we could do past, other than getting rid of the Electoral College. I don't think I think, yeah. Term limits. I agree, Crucky. Term limits would be great. As well as age limits. Yep. Triangulate, but ranked choice allows for a narcissist triangulate the field. I don't get that.
Maybe. Yeah, how are you coming up with that, Kimmy? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just interested in your thinking on the point.
Over RFK Jr.? Sure. Yeah. Chris, I support Fauci over RFK Jr. Do I think Fauci is perfect? No. I don't think anybody's perfect.
Yeah, Kimmy, I see your points, but I don't know how that relates. How that directly relates to ranked choice voting. That's the part I'm missing.
I disagree, Vince. The problem with Russia is because they are an authoritarian state, because Putin and the oligarchs there are the kind of people that always want more, it's never going to end. They took Crimea in 2014. They weren't done. They just kept going. At some point, we as a society need to decide that it's not okay for one sovereign nation to just decide they want to take the land of another sovereign nation. That's one of the reasons that I also think the UN should have more power. No, he is not the reason the virus even exists, but thanks for playing. That is the most uninformed and dumbass statement I think I may have ever heard. under any other administration, no one really cared about the secretaries. He did not fund the research. The NIH funds lots of research. That's literally what they do, but he did not specifically fund the research into that. He did not. I can't speak on anything else. I think if we drop the filibuster, we can pass proportional representation and still be within Article 1. I mean, I would love the idea. I think we should be doubling the number of representatives in the House, and I think that everyone's district should be set up to be more like the same. So like a rural representative should like everyone having someone in the city and in the country being in the same district makes it near impossible to be correctly representative. The problem with breaking the filibuster is it opens the door potentially for a lot of bad things, and the real question is it worth it? And that's a frightening concept and a frightening idea, and there's going to be a lot of senators that are going to struggle with that idea. And there currently are. I mean, that's the reason that the SAVE Act hasn't been passed, is because, well, there's multiple reasons, but you know, one of the biggest reasons that Thune isn't trying is because he cannot get enough. There's like 15 senators on the Republican side that are unwilling to vote to end the filibuster. And I think you're going to have trouble finding enough on either side to do it, because the filibuster by its very nature gives some power to the minority party.
Gives a decent amount of power to the minority party. Gives a definite decent amount of power to them. And the filibuster, as you know, Mike, is not absolute in terms of reconciliation and finance bills. It's pretty much a majority vote. But for the other things, and obviously naming judges, for the other things, it does work. Yeah, I have mixed emotions about getting rid of the filibuster. Half of me wants to get rid of it. The other half says it's a good protection.
I agree with Lawyer Shark. We should start saying that RFK Jr. Created measles. Totally agree. Do it. I say go back to the talking filibuster. I mean, again, I think there's a lot of changes that need to happen even in Congress, even if we don't end up going to a parliamentary system. I think the House and Senate shouldn't be able to make their own rules. I think there should be rules, and they're required to follow it. And if they don't follow it, then again, some outside group has the capability of holding them responsible. Again, as long as we try and set up a way where the people, where the group themselves has to hold themselves responsible, it's never going to work. Not in 2026. Can I comment on our current leadership wanting a third term? Not surprising. I honestly, based on everything I'm hearing, and obviously everything is through a filter, I would be amazed at this point if he's functional by the end of this term. Again, the man has been to the doctor how many times in the last year to get more checkups? Far too many. He's had yearly checkups like 4 times. I'm out if he won't leave or deport. That's fair. Taking too long. Also fair. Should be considered treason. Hey, Di. How are you, my friend? Where were you during the Sleepy Joe era? We needed you then too. Doing exactly what I'm doing now. Absolutely. You are always welcome, Di. We need to get Lawyer Shark up here too. Then we'll have 3 lawyers. That would actually be hilarious.
It'll be the Triple Crown.
Right.
Good morning. Hello, Scott.
Good morning, Di. How are you this morning?
Yeah, so far so good, but there's a lot left to the day still.
Have faith. Stay optimistic. So what is your pick for, we're playing a game today. You get to pick your own 28th Amendment. What would you pick?
That's a good question. And can I just say I wasn't a big fan of the 27th Amendment. I mean, there was a huge push for it and everybody was like, oh, we got to have it. It's historical, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I think we were all right leaving voting at 18 with the 26th. I digress. What would I add? Well, of course, it'd be the Equal Rights Amendment, right?
Oh, sure.
ERA all the way.
Yeah.
We also could do maybe something about Citizens United. That would be kind of good to have that going. Ooh, we could redo the Electoral College a little bit more.
That's what
That
both of
would
us
be
said.
that would
Yeah,
be really good.
Mike and I have been talking about Citizens United and the Electoral College as 2 of our top picks, but Equal Rights Amendment, that's a pretty good one too.
I think it was pretty close to actually getting on the books. I don't know if you all remember when there was this movement of people and they're like, just take it and give it to NARA, the place where you file it. What's the archives? They just give it to them. It's fine. It'll go through. It's like, that was crazy talk.
Yep. That was crazy talk.
Mm-hmm.
Are you concerned with Elon Musk doing something with results to election? You know what? I'm concerned. I'm just concerned. To say that I am not concerned, to say that there is no concern in me regarding this election would be a lie.
Well, Elon's main thing is that he's now going to give $100 million or more to the Republicans in the midterms, to which I say that's the best news the Democrats could get, because anytime Elon floods the zone with money, it causes that candidate more heartache than the money is worth. There are people who they hear Elon's kicking into a candidate. See Wisconsin, the election of the Supreme Court in Wisconsin. That turned the election right around, and the Democrat won in a landslide. People revolted against Elon giving them money.
Yep.
So I don't know how much that'll help the Republicans if he kicks in $100 million.
I mean,
I'm waiting for him, though, to get through his lawsuits. He's got a heck of a lot of lawsuits coming in because of Doge. And we're talking multi-millions of dollars in those lawsuits as well.
And he's filing lawsuits too. I just read about him filing a lawsuit in Minnesota, I think, because they just passed a law, bipartisan law, that made it that held the apps responsible like AI apps responsible if people use them to make AI like generated porn from people's images,
Interesting.
and
You
he's
know,
freaking out about it.
he's also gotten dinged somewhat like that over in Europe. It's like called something different, but there's a, a council or whatever, and talking about that as well. And he's the only one that's been dinged yet in social media.
I saw his interview. That was a wild interview, by the way.
Do
You
you
mean
remember?
with the British lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that
Oh,
too.
I didn't. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to write it down.
Yeah, she's the one. Oh gosh, what's her name, Mike?
I cannot remember her name.
I cannot remember her name either. She's all over YouTube, and she's usually interviewing the anti-Trump author. I forget his name too, but he's always on YouTube. The one who's a real sarcastic son of a bitch.
You mean God.
Yeah, I know. I'm pulling a brain cramp, and I watch him 4 times a day, and now I can't remember his name.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe I have early onset. I don't know.
You need to take one of those quarterly exams.
Yeah, I ought to be joining Trump for his 4 annual physicals
I'm gonna see
a
his
year.
name and I'm gonna smack myself because I literally feel it on the tip of my tongue.
Yes.
I'm gonna hold on. I gotta look it up now.
Yeah, look it up. There you
Piers.
go.
Piers Morgan.
No, not Piers Morgan.
No, not Piers. That's who I was thinking.
No. I know Piers Morgan. It's the other guy. He's an American author, and he's written a number of books on Trump. I think he wrote a book with Trump.
Bob Woodward?
No.
Michael Wolff.
Michael Wolff.
There you go.
Michael Wolff. Very good. That's right. Yeah, she's always interviewing Michael Wolff. He's like a regular on her show. And Elon was bizarre. You're quite right, Di. You really do have to watch it. Elon was just weird. He's a strange person, just very strange.
So it was The Economist was where the interview was on. Sat down with Zanny Minton Bedos. Is that her name? I don't know.
Yeah, the Economist has a pretty big footprint on the tube of you, and she does a lot of the interviewing herself, and she's really good, Di.
Ooh, well, I'm loving her name, so she's already getting stars. So that's a start. I would have to say Elon kind of got worse the more that he was in the public, right? So like with the chainsaw and the $1 million bribes and all of that stuff. But the one thing that I think really brought him down in this administration was when he was trying to take over the cabinet meetings. I think that really, really got to Trump, where he was like, he would like seal it like he's in a boardroom presenting something for the people. And it's like, dude, this is a cabinet. They're going to tell me how amazing I am. And then I'm going to be like, thanks, and we're done. What are you doing? So I think that was one of the final pieces.
Well, Trump should have known better. You get the world's richest man, who by definition is an egomaniac, and you put him in that milieu. What do you expect? Elon obviously viewed himself as some sort of co-president, and that doesn't sit well with a narcissist like Donald Trump.
Yep.
I think they both had skeletons in their closet. That's what I think. Like Elon, when he left, he was like, Epstein files, for Trump, but Trump's also got some dirt on him as well. I'm just betting.
If you rearrange the letters in his name, you get Lone Scum.
Oh my gosh, brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, that tracks. It is so interesting to me how fast some of these things come out. Remember when there was a period of time, at least on TikTok, where the videos from his influencer baby mommy she was coming out and spilling all the tea, and she was making her rounds. I haven't seen any videos since then, but like, this is the hard part about all of this is it's like, we're just like everything just comes in and goes away and comes in and goes away, and no one has time to actually like, it's just barely even any time for some of this information to get pushed out to the people that probably need to hear it. Whether or not she was lying or not, this is just a general frustration with how the news is working. Is stuff is in and out so fast that it doesn't actually trickle down to the people that need to hear the information.
Yeah, and along those lines, the last time we heard from Elon, he was being booted out after the Doge fiasco and pouting about how he was going to form his own third party. What
Yeah.
happened to that?
That lasted a whole minute.
That lasted about a minute.
That
Exactly.
lasted as long as Marjorie Taylor Greene's statement of starting a third party did. Who just got married, by the way.
Well, Costa Rica, or did she come back to the U.S. to get married?
That I don't know. I just saw a picture from her wedding.
Oh, good for her. Good for her. All right, here's the deal, though. All right, we have to remember is that this is all the Flood the Zone, right? So yesterday on my live, a lot of people just snuck on by. Did you sneak by yesterday on my live? I can't remember. It's too early in the morning.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you very much. But the case I was going over is one from the closet docket, and it was filed in September of last year. And it's requesting, if anyone remembers, right, Colombia that was bullied into a whole bunch of stuff so that Trump wouldn't take the federal funds.
Yeah.
And then Harvard got sent that horrible letter. And there's multiple different institutions, right, that have been getting dinged around. And this was specific to the University of California. And they're saying, we don't want him to threaten our curriculum or have people he wants us to hire, because they're talking about he wants his own people there in the university. Like a third of the staff would be, red hatters and such.
Yeah.
And as I'm reading through this, and I mean, this is like incredibly important. You get the Department of Education in saying that we are going to pull your certification, right? So you're no longer an accredited university if you don't do what Trump tells you to do. I mean, there's some really big things going out there, but we don't have time for it because it's like left, right, getting the whiplash, you know?
It's this weird, it's a weird dynamic because really, or it's almost a catch-22 that we're in. I mean, it is a catch-22 that we're in. There are things that we need to fix before we can actually fix some of these other problems, but we need to talk about these other problems in order to get people to pay attention enough to actually get the people in place to actually fix the first fixes that need to happen. And it's like, so it's like we're just bouncing back and forth. Linda, thank you so much for the $19.99 gift over on the tube. I appreciate you, my friend. That means more to me than you know. Thank you so much.
That's like 4 boxes of Post-its.
Yep. That's like, that's like a pack of gum right now, but
super generous.
Everything helps.
I love how Dai's monetary system is how many Post-its something can buy.
Well, they'd have
and
to
Dai, you need lots of Post-its. You do.
He keeps the Post-it market going in the country.
But only the super stickies. Like now I can't even deal with a regular one. Like the Hubs gave me one yesterday and I'm like, this isn't right. And he's like, it's just a sticky note. And I'm like, it's not super sticky. So I turn into an angry bear.
Who makes them? 3M?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Well, the 3M is, you're definitely on their Christmas card list, I can assure you.
And I
they're
go.
Oh, I was going to say there was a little bit of scutterbutt going around with the Post-its because they'd kind of hopped over onto my channel. And so we were kind of like, I don't know what the stuff is before you go on a date. Like you're just kind of like on the computer. You're like, oh, hey, I love all this. And they're like, oh, we all love this too. I don't remember what that's called because I've been married for 30 years. Anyone?
I've been married for over 20, so.
All right. Well, whatever. We were trying to like get to know each other, and then whatever,
Flirting.
and then
What Aaron
there we go.
said.
Thank you very much. We're in the flirting stage, and then they had like stuff to do, so I'm like, I might chase after him later, but I don't know.
What was someone saying? Oh, people are talking about how they're sick of performance in the media, and I get it. I mean, someone came in and was like, "This is just rage baiting," and I'm like, "Yeah, it was. It was to get people to talk, because we live in a freaking we have a system right now where, in a perfect world, I would not do this. I would only do the first one, or I'd talk about the other things that I know we need to talk about, and it would get people in, and it would get people to interact. But it just doesn't, because most people don't. It's not exciting, the stuff we're talking about. It's annoying, and it's frustrating, and it's exhausting at times. Because some days we're talking about the same thing for 3 days in a row. I mean, Scott can tell you there are weeks where we've literally had the same argument, 100 times in every single live. And but it's like, we've got to do this, which is why I keep saying, look, we want to make these real changes, then it's going to take some work by all of us, which is why I interview so many people that want to make change, that are running for office. And I ask everybody to watch them all through and comment and share and like and all of the things that are necessary, because that's how we fix it. That's it, is having conversations and learning to have conversations again. Yesterday was great. Yesterday was really nice. All right, see you, Passion. Thank you. Was really nice to be able to it was a nice conversation. It wasn't easy. People got frustrated. I got frustrated, but it's like, that's how it works. And there were people on multiple different platforms that were like, I'm conservative by nature, but I appreciate you, and I appreciated the conversation. And it was yeah. Graduated from law school in Florida. Happy I didn't choose FIU despite high bar pass. Hey, we need good lawyers.
Yeah, I feel like all of the, I don't know how to put it exactly, but like, how you have your fresh, shiny, great stuff in the front row, and then like your old stuff's in the back row, like your comfy chairs, like hidden away in the basement. And so all I can think of is like all of these attorneys now that are such jerks. It's like all of our ugliness is being shown, like the spotlight's just being shown on them. I mean, there's no reason Todd Blanche should have even been considered
Yeah.
for an AG, like even considered.
Yeah.
And we've got all kinds of different sanctions and ethics calls. I know you've seen probably, I think they're going after Bondi again in Florida. It's just so much. And I'm just like, God, people, we're that one of those things that's an ethic, a rule for us is to not do shit that makes the industry look bad for us. Like, we're self-regulating, because we were talking about that before, right? Who's going to keep everybody in check in the court and the legal system? Well, that's a tough question, because we're self-regulated. We get groups of people together that are like us and tell us if we're good or if we're bad. But we got some bad ones out there.
Yeah. And
I agree with you, Di. I think Todd Blanche is 10 years from now will regret even getting involved in this.
I agree. I think his career is heading down.
Take a look at Rudy Giuliani. Take a look at who was the whack job, the lady in 2020, Sidney Powell. And take a look what happened to John Eastman. John Eastman actually was a real lawyer, and he ruined his life. It's I can understand Pam Bondi. She's just a dummy. But Todd Blanche isn't a dummy, and he's going to regret what he did.
I think he will. But we had so many. You're absolutely right. We had like Sydney, like the Kraken lady was there. We had. I've been reading through the Maine. Was it Maine or Maryland? I get the M's mixed up. And there were 6 attorneys included in there that were sanctioned. And her role, the judge sent her decision to the bar associations that each attorney had was licensed under. I mean, that's huge. You get a judge like sending in stuff to the ethics committee for bar reviews. I mean, that's out of control, man.
That's the
Yeah. And
that's
that's not something you see all that often. You do see it, but not that often.
I think that's the part that's wild to me is after what has been shown, like what happened to the lawyers under Trump's first administration, as Lawyer Shark talked about Giuliani too. Like these people's lives have been destroyed. So many people that were lawyers for this guy in the first administration had their lives destroyed. Why does anyone want to put their, like, why would anyone put their name behind it, knowing what the constant outcome has been?
You know, Mike, and it's not just limited to lawyers. Obviously, because Di and I were just talking about Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and John Eastman. It's other people who've been affiliated with Trump. They've had their lives ruined. Or let me put it another way. Name anybody who's worked for Trump, either in business or in Michael Cohen, by the way, we'll throw him in that, either in business or in politics, who's come out the better for it. They've all ended up getting their lives ruined. Steve Bannon, much like a broken clock, is only right 2 times a day, but he made a good point. He said, if we lose, we're going to go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
True story. I would have to say though, a little like I can't think of any. Sorry, Scott, I can't think of anybody. But I do want to say when it comes to moments where other people besides the big shots got it, and I would say Jenna Ellis, I think is her name. She was included in the RICO down in Georgia because she was the one sitting next to Giuliani during the government hearings where they were trying to talk about how the thing was fraud. So she got dinged as part of that RICO, but when she pulled back, she had to give an apology. She had a plea deal. Everything worked out okay, but this was like her second public admonishment, and she just broke down. She's like, I've been trusting the wrong people. I've been in with the wrong group. I really believe something that somebody told me, and I should have done it. I should have researched it myself. So that one I feel like I would put her in a column of I'm not sure, rather than you're completely awful and you should go to jail.
I was watching a clip from an interview. What's his name? Sean. He's a former military guy. He's been going around talking about making his own rounds, talking about how he was, how he wish he's like out of politics and all this other stuff. I can't remember his name, but he was talking to a different guy who was in the military and went to some of Trump's like rallies and stuff. And the guy was saying, Sean Ryan, thank you. The guy said, I was at these rallies, and I sat there and I was thinking, now I understand why, like how the guy who led Germany in the 1930s was able to do what he did. Because there was almost something about being there that you get caught up in everything and it changes you.
Well, my Henry Kissinger put it best. Power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. And people are drawn to other people with power and would do things that normally they would not do. And we've seen that before.
Yeah.
I mean, Roy Cohn was Joseph McCarthy's counsel, his right-hand man. And by the way, so was Bobby Kennedy. They both served as counsel to the House Un-American Activities Committee. Stuff that they wouldn't have done normally, but power is a ultimate aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
Take a look at the lawyers who went to jail for Richard Nixon. John Mitchell, Attorney General, went to jail.
I think he was the first one. I always appreciate seeing the AGs taken down first, and then the rest of the dominoes is fine. But I think you need to start with the AGs.
Yeah.
I would just hope that Todd Blanche is getting some kind of outside counsel, at least for advice. If he hasn't, he's already too late. But
I think he's in too far at this point now.
yeah, I think so too, Di. I think you might be right. And that just baffles me about that. I mean, he could be making a ton of money in the private sector. What does he need to have his life ruined for? And his life's going to be ruined.
I agree, and I don't know, and it's weird. It's just really weird.
Well, and I think the problem is for every Todd Blanche or Sidney Powell or Giuliani whose life gets ruined because of the connection, there are people out there that end up benefiting. And I think there are probably people that sit there and go and hope that they will be they'll be one of the people that will make it out better on the other side. Like what's her face, the former competitive swimmer who got 5th place and basically made her name on attacking trans athletes, and now gets tons of money everywhere to talk, even though stuff she said was horrible too.
Di, I'm from the New York area, and and I'm old enough to remember when Rudy Giuliani was a hero of mine after 9/11.
Well, of course. He was the country's mayor,
he was
right?
a legitimate hero here. He could have ended his political career as a hero.
Yep.
And instead, he ends it as a flat broke guy living in a condo in Florida with not a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. He wrecked his life. And it's an American tragedy, to tell you the truth.
I would agree, and I was around during that period of time, for sure, dude. I think we're the same age, actually, Scott. I know, right?
You're 69?
I am. Oh my gosh, how did you get? That's a filter. Anywho, I was there. The thing with Giuliani, though, is I heard that most New Yorkers really didn't like him that much. They thought he was kind of a jerk. I mean, yeah, he did a lot of stuff with the mob, and that was great, and the stop and frisk stuff, but overall, they didn't care for him. So this was like his way of redeeming himself. But, rather than take a bow when you're on the top and move on, it's like he got tangled up in this mess.
Yeah, he ran for president briefly. And I supported him in, oh gosh, what was it, 2008, I want to think it was, for the Republican nomination. He didn't get anywhere. And he throws in his lot with Trump. I just, it's head scratching. And Mike, you want to know what, Mike, you said it best. There's no telling why they do that. I guess it would take a team of psychiatrists to figure it out. But it's just crazy, and Sidney Powell was not a big fish, but she wrecked her legal career. John Eastman was a fairly well-known attorney, and he wrecked himself. I mean, it's just, and again, it's not just lawyers. It's other people.
I think Eastman was the most upset, Scott. Did you see or watch any of his quote unquote bar license committee trials? He had one in California and then in DC. Holy buckets. He was so pissed off. He was working so hard to get that license to not be suspended. I think that was I think he took it the hardest out of everybody, is what I would add to that. But you're absolutely right. It's not just attorneys. It takes a lot of other people around us to make stuff happen.
Well, and again, I think the problem that we're seeing now that makes it hard for a lot of us to understand is we are seeing some of the worst people in this world succeed to a level that boggles my mind. We've got Andrew Tates and all these other just
Stephen
Millers and other just wretched human beings. That
I mean, I think of Stephen Miller, and now that I know that Di is my age, she will remember this. You have to be old. But remember the movie or the TV show Tales from the Crypt? And it was also a movie. Stephen Miller is something out of Tales from the Crypt. He looks
Mhm.
like the Crypt Keeper. I
He
mean,
does.
this guy is creepy on so many different levels. It's almost a caricature of himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on though, too. I was just remembering today that Jenny Thomas, so Clarence Thomas's wife, she's got a whole hour interview on where she was on Jan 6, and like she was in the thick of it. And so what Thomas is just going to say, well, I don't even listen to her, even though she's my wife. That was a huge thing, but nothing ever came of it. She could have been charged, but that was really a big deal. That was really troublesome for me, at
That
least.
was a huge deal, and I'll bet you were like me. We were expecting charges to drop any day, and they never
Mhm.
did
Yeah.
against Jenny Thomas. I was very surprised with that. You're right, Di. I'd forgotten all about that. Jenny
It's
Thomas was a big deal. She was doing a whole lot of nasty stuff.
for sure. And then I noticed too, I mean, kind of in that same vein that I'm like, what's going on? When Alito's flag was upside down and they had another flag, right? Do you remember that too? There was
Oh yes, a Supreme Court justice flying the American flag upside down, and Di'll tell you that's a symbol. That's a right wing symbol to
right,
fly the American flag upside down. He claimed to have no knowledge of that.
that it
What
was his wife.
unmitigated bullshit!
And his wife came out and was like, you know what? And you can actually hear her. I think it was like a hot mic. Somebody was talking to the Chief Justice, and so her microphone like picked up what Alito's wife was saying, and Alito's wife was like, you know what? I'm not embarrassed about my German heritage at all. I'm German, and as that, I'm very proud of it. Like she had put in her justification for the flags because she was German.
That only makes it worse.
I know, but Google it. If you go on YouTube, you can see it. You could be
Oh
like,
my
I'm sorry,
God.
ma'am. What are we talking about here? Why? Who's bringing up Germany?
You know, and not to get too deep into the weeds with the court stuff, but there's a book waiting to be written about just what the hell happened to Justice Alito. He just took a turn to the dark side, something fierce.
I don't know. He was kind of crappy in the 90s. I said it.
Yeah, but I don't think he was nuts. I think he's nuts now. I
Mm,
really do. I don't think he's mentally stable.
I think he was taken out by his fingernails. I'm just putting that out there. Never been a fan of Alito, but whatever. Hopefully he'll retire soon. Ugh. I don't even know if we want to do that. Do we want to hope they retire soon or not? It's worrisome.
Well, that's my dark horse prediction for the next few weeks is that Alito and Thomas are going to dump it because they're afraid of the Democrats taking over the Senate and not being able to replace them. They see the handwriting on the wall for 2028 if they do lose the Senate, if the Republicans do lose the Senate. So it would be in their interest if they want to see another right winger appointed to the court and a young right winger, which is exactly what Trump would choose, to quit soon before the November elections.
But here's the thing that I've noticed, especially now more than ever, and you're seeing it in Congress, and I think you're seeing it in the Supreme Court. The people, especially on the right, but it's happening on the left too. People that are older, there's this. They get so used to having power, so used to having what they say and what they do be cared about, that they cannot fathom giving it up, and they are staying with it long past when they should. And that's why we're losing people left and right while they're still in office that should have stepped down a long time ago. The fact that we had 90-plus-year-old people in office is just wild.
Obviously, Justice Ginsburg comes to mind.
Absolutely.
She should have quit while Obama was still president and could have replaced her.
Well,
But my question, Scott, though, when it comes to Ginsburg is, should Scalia have stopped eating greasy burgers? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he had a heart attack. It's like, dude, lay off the ice cream. I'm just putting that out there.
But I mean, what's his fate? Grassley, Chuck Grassley. That
Oh, yeah.
man is it is complete, like there is no functioning. And maybe he functions better when he's not sitting on the, at a committee hearing, but dude, it was
He's a
like
zombie.
watching a zombie. Yeah, it was like
Mhm.
every statement that man made, everyone, even when he was talking, when he was like, when people were doing, and he was like doing his job as the chair, where it's like a completely separate thing, he was reading it from a paper. Like, how can you have responses set up on a piece of paper for things that you aren't sure are going to happen? Somehow he did.
Well, Mike, who does he remind you of? I'll tell you who he reminds you of, Senator Feinstein towards the end.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's both Democrats and Republicans, and that does weigh against my theory. I mean, logic says that Alito and Thomas would quit, and that they would quit. They were going to hang out to the end of Trump's term, but with the Democrats having at least a 50-50 chance of taking the Senate, logic would tell you they would quit now. But what you're saying, I think, will overwhelm that. Power is an aphrodisiac, as we said before, and a Supreme Court justice has plenty of power, and that's tough to give up.
Yeah. And here's the thing, we talk about the chances of us winning certain seats. Scott and I've had talks, off live about it. I don't know for those of you that haven't seen the video, I've interviewed someone who's running for Senate in Montana. Montana, by its very nature, just because there is also an independent running, is technically seems like a difficult win. But I want to say this. So if you're Alani Bankhead, if you're in Montana and you're not watching for her, do it. There is enough fear of her that the person running under the Republican ticket got Trump to make a Truth Social post, not about the independent guy who what's his face from Montana wants to win, but about her. And it's like, I still think that especially these harder core MAGA are not seeing what the average person is seeing. I think they're too far into the Fox News and the social media. And I know there was part of me that felt that before, and maybe I'll be wrong again. But I interact with these people all the time, and the amount of people that are just sitting here going, that have no clue what's actually going on in like rural areas of the country, how much suffering is actually going on in these places is just wild. Like, I've said it before, how do you change minds? People have to get to a point where the pain is so great that it literally yanks them out of the brainwashing that we all, to some extent, have interacted with and struggled with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I tell you, as someone in the rural area, you're getting up at 6 a.m. and you're detasseling corn. DC's a far, far away place that is never really thought of. But then when you say I need to detassel my corn, but I can't afford to have other people do it, now we've got a problem. And they'll go to DC and make sure they're watching what's going on.
And
Yeah, and I agree with you, Mike. It's no secret to anybody here, I'm a political junkie, and I love forecasting elections, and I get subsumed in all the data. And I think the wild card in the 2026 and 2028 elections is going to be a ferment in rural America and exurban America. We're going to see some results in the midterms that we hadn't even dreamed of. I don't know where they're going to come. Montana's a good example. I'm also keeping my eye on Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa for upsets there. Again, we're going to see things happening because you're absolutely hit the nail on the head. We're all suffering under this regime. Nobody is suffering more than rural America. and ex-urban America. I want to include that with them because they're the feeder areas for rural America
Yeah.
in terms of healthcare services, things like that. And there's a lot of turmoil going on there that isn't being reported all that much, and it should be.
I mean, even like Idaho, like the person I interviewed who's running in the first district in Idaho, which for people that don't know, Idaho has 2 representatives in the House. They have 2 districts. It's like the entire state and then one little corner that has their capital in it. And that's like it. That's all of Idaho. And the person running that won the primary for Idaho on the Democratic side, this is her 4th time running. She spent 8 years going around the state and talking with people and listening to them. And the person who's in that seat never meets with the people. And some of those areas of Idaho are really rural, and they're really suffering, and they really feel betrayed.
Alaska. When's the last time Alaska sent a Democrat to Washington? Well, it's been 42 years. Keep your eye on Mary Peltola. She is running neck and neck with Sullivan. Actually, she's running a few points ahead over Sullivan. I mean, you're going to see some strange things coming out of these midterms. It's going to be an interesting night.
Yeah.
And like in every midterm, there might be 1 or 2 Democrats that we thought would win who don't. We saw that last time in 2018 in Maine. Everybody thought, oh, my God, this is a ultra blue year.
Yep.
And sometimes it doesn't happen. But there's going to, I guess the way to sum it up is this midterms, expect the unexpected.
Which is why I keep pushing for output when it comes down to it. Like we need an 80% turnout. We need it. If we have a 45 to 50% turnout, like is normal in a midterm, I guarantee you we will have issues.
Well, in my opinion, you're going to get a 45 to 50% turnout, but there's a big caveat here. Most of the people who don't show up are going to be Republicans. The Democrats are going to have a very heavy turnout for the midterms. Not 80%, but they're going to have a very heavy turnout for the midterms. The Republicans are absolutely, the voter enthusiasm levels are the lowest I've ever seen, ever in 50 years, the lowest for the Republicans in these midterms. The Republicans lost 41 seats in 2018. And the Republican voter enthusiasm level is coming in lower than they had in 2018. That's something.
Do you, Scott, with those numbers and also seeing what's going on, what are thoughts here on mandatory voting? A lot of people have been asking about that from Australia and such, where they've got one day you're required to go in and vote.
You and I discussed this before, I believe, Di, about 2 months ago. I tend to have a very good memory for interesting discussions, and anytime anyone talks with you, it's by definition interesting. So,
you're so sweet. I don't even know what day of the week it is.
Well, I and Mike had this discussion a while ago.
Yeah,
you had constitutional issues, and there are some constitutional issues with mandatory voting. So I proposed, and because I know this is definitely constitutional, there's another way to go about this: a tax credit. Pay people to vote. It's money well spent. $50 tax credit, $100 tax credit. The details can be worked out. Congress certainly has the power to do that.
Well, I don't know. I see a whole bunch of people standing outside of the election places, like shaking everybody down for their $50. Like, I know they gave you $50 to go and vote. Now it's mine. Give it to me. That's the part of it that worries me.
Well, no, that's why you make it a tax credit. You're not handing out cash. I mean, this isn't Chicago in the 1930s where you're handing out cash to vote.
I
You
also
So
know,
you would make
I
it a
also think
tax
making
credit.
election day a federal holiday, like a required holiday, would
Oh my gosh, those things, Mike. Absolutely, it should
that'd be
be. And
great.
to begin with, elections should be held on a weekend. Let's start with that. They should be held
Hmm.
on a weekend. There's no reason not to have election week. It doesn't have to be one day. The polls should be open for those who want to do in-person voting for more than one day. And I'm not just talking early voting. Make it election month. I mean, there's lots of different things you could do with that.
Well, and the crazy thing is, I know in Australia where they do like they make a party of it. Like people have cookouts at like around voting in Australia, and it's like,
Well, in all fairness, Mike, Australians would make a party out of anything.
Amen, Scott. I was just gonna say that. Where's
Fair.
my
You,
Fosters?
you don't
Fair.
have to push an Australian too far to say let's have a party.
Very
They'll be
true.
with you.
That's very true. But
But still, this idea though, if you're comparing Australia to the US, I mean, right? They're going to have barbecue. They're going to hang out. It's going to be fun. But meanwhile, in the US, people wouldn't even wear a mask in order to not have their friends and family unalive. So it's like everyone's so touchy here in this country. Like, you can't tell me what to do. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with the voices today. I'm exhausted. But anyway, that's just a whole different ideology
That's true.
than what they've got going on in Australia.
The idea to have some sort of government incentive to vote doesn't have to be a negative incentive. That's my point. It doesn't have to be the negative incentive that Australia has, where you get fined if you don't vote. You could do it the other way around. You reward people for voting. There's more than one way to skin a cat, is what I'm saying. And I
What
do
the
think
cat
that,
do? Leave the cats out of it. Dang.
well, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Never
No?
mind.
Oh my gosh, double cats.
Look, there's more than one way to do this. And I do think that there would, because of our history and everything else, and maybe even constitutional issues with forcing people to vote. You might have some pushback on that. So I say make it a positive incentive. Give them a tax credit. Work out something like that.
Yeah. I agree. You can't be elected or appointed. I mean, I'm okay with at least not being appointed. The elected thing,
Well, you had Jeb Bush and G.W. Bush, well, one in Florida, one in Texas. I don't know how you could say that a brother couldn't run for office if his other brother holds an office in another state. Yeah, that'd be tough.
I could understand the you can't appoint relation, like someone related to you, because the same way that there are some businesses that have, make it so you can't have like your wife or relative working under you kind of a thing. But I think the elected part, that's the whole point of elections. The elections is supposed to be the choice of the people. If they want to have multiple people in the same family in different areas and different places, who are we to complain about that? I think making it so felons can't be presidents or felons can't hold office is a more important thing to put in place than family members being elected personally.
I think one of the biggest problems too, when we're working on constitutional amendments, we've got like 900, 1,000 just sitting in the back of Congress wanting to go forward on amendments. We've never had the amendment actually passed and done by the states starting it. We've only put it through Congress. They're the only body that's been able to get any amendments out.
Yeah.
And then now you're talking about getting them out to the people, which, as you know, scares the crap out of all of us. Because if it's now and they get some weird stuff on there, it's like, whoa, that's crazy.
And, I hate to be the skunk at the garden party, but I'm going to be anyway. We're talking about ways to encourage voting or ways to, force voting with the Australia model. Unfortunately, about half of our Congress is now looking for ways to restrict voting. So I don't know if the atmosphere is there.
True. Well, and I've said before that in the grand scheme of things, all of these things we're talking about requires us to put in work to get the kind of people in office that want to make the changes, not just at the federal level, but also at the state level, because a 28th Amendment would require 3/4 of the states to ratify it. We don't have the states. It's just going to sit there and nothing's going to happen. So, you know, in reality, it's how many people in this country know who their state representatives are. What percentage? I would be amazed if it is above 5%. I think that's probably even, that might be high.
That would have been my guess, 5% tops. And I doubt it's even 5%. Maybe in certain states they do, where they take, like Massachusetts, I'll bet you most people would know who their state reps are, but you come out of the womb in Massachusetts as a political junkie. That's, you know, that's a rule up there.
That's one of those little teeny tiny states over on the East Coast, right?
Yes.
Massachusetts.
Yes.
They'll blend together 'cause they're
Massachusetts
so
people
little.
Massachusetts people are very unique. I went to college and law school up there, Diane. The only thing I learned is that they are definitely aware that there are 49 other states. They're just not certain where they are. And they don't really care where the other states are. People in Massachusetts live in their own little world.
That's a good point.
And Mr. Rum, in the current system, the way it's currently looking and the way we as voters currently interact, yeah, of course they're not. But there are people running right now that fully support it, fully support an amendment that enacts term limits. They are 100% down for it. It still comes down to what we as the people tell the people running are going to be the deciding factors of us voting for them and us keeping them in office. It still comes down to whether enough of us get out to vote and whether or not we hold them accountable in office. But not a majority support it. Not a majority of what? Of people? Of voters? Or of people in office? The people in office have learned that voters don't pay attention, so they don't care. They listen to what they say, but they never hold them accountable. We want to hold them accountable, then SAVE Act does not protect our vote.
I'm so sick of that SAVE Act. I could just grab it and smack it around for an hour. It makes me so mad.
But
people.
Yeah. And Congress does what it does because they've been taught that this is how they stay in office. Our vote is already protected, Chris. The 2020 election was the most investigated election of all time. And they were unable to show any significant.
Okay. Nope. Okay. Well, that explains it, Chris. Thank you.
Glad we had that conversation. Nope. All coming out. None of it's coming out now.
It's all coming out now.
My gosh.
Literally.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming out now. Those 63 court cases, we don't have to pay attention to those because it's all coming out now. They said so on Newsmax.
You know, I forget exactly the name of it, but anytime anyone comes up and says, oh, you know, whatever, I have all the evidence that they presented to all of the courts. Those 68 cases, I've seen all the evidence. You know why? Because all they did was photocopy the same evidence and put it in every single court.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that.
Pillow Guy says it's coming out. Yeah.
Is that
yeah,
a
the
song?
Pillow Guy.
You remember when Pillow Guy had his symposium?
Oh my gosh.
About that, do you remember that laughing stock of a symposium that he had? And there were actually a couple of election lawyers who snuck in and watched the symposium. They said, this is all nonsense. It's all gibberish.
Stick around. Okay, Chris. Yep.
Okay, we'll
Isn't
stick
he
around,
running?
Chris. Chris, you let me know when that hits.
He's running
'cause
for-
I'll definitely want to see because I'm sticking around. I'm sure Mike Lindell will come up with something
Yeah, he's running
really
for
good
governor.
this time.
Oh, Governor, okay.
Nate, so you saying that Dems believe anything an authority figure tells them that it's pathetic
Whoa.
is hilarious. And I'm talking extreme hilarity because you guys for 3 times believed a man who was well known to be a consummate liar. Like Trump has been known to be a grifter of all grifters for anyone that lived in the Northeast. He has grifted and lied and everything else to everybody that he could lie to. He was also shown to have lied 34,000 times while in office. He also was found liable of grape. He was also found guilty of 34 felonies, and yet y'all keep believing him. So don't sit here and pretend that we're the ones that believe.
Yeah, them demon rats. They believes all authority figures. Says the person who voted 3 times for Donald Trump.
Still believe there are 2 parties. Y'all cute. There are 2 parties. Do I believe that there are 2 parties that are completely different? No, there are overlaps. Sure, there are overlaps. That's why a lot of people on the left are trying to get different people in office.
Chris, absolutely not. That is absolutely not appropriate language.
Well, Chris just took the train to St. Elsewhere.
Sorry
Push
to
the envelope
interrupt.
a little bit too far, Chris. Bye-bye. Come back tomorrow.
I'm not in bliss. What makes you think that I'm living in bliss? What part of this entire conversation, or the last however long I've been doing this now, 4 or 5 years that I've been a political content creator, makes you think that I am in any way in bliss with what's going on in this country? There is no bliss. This country sucks right now. For a majority of people, I've said more times than I can count that no one should ever trust their representatives. They should hold them accountable for what they fucking say and do. I'm sorry for the language, but I'm tired of this bullshit. Yes, the Democratic Party. I love this analogy because it's totally true. The Republican Party and the Democratic Party are 2 rooms of a house. The Democratic Party, the room is a pigsty. It's an absolute pigsty. It needs to get cleaned up. No question. But the Republican Party is the exact same pigsty with a giant pile of shit on fire in it.
That's very descriptive.
Let me ask you a
no
question, Nate.
fire.
Nate,
No
let me
fire
ask you.
option.
Let me ask you a question, Nate.
Wait, hold on, Scott. Let me put my
Okay.
hand down. There you go.
Nate, do you believe that the Republican Party believes in democracy?
The Dems and Republicans. Those are our choices. We don't have any other choice. We are a 2-party system. And until we can get people in to fix that system, that is the only choice we got. As long as the Electoral College exists, there will only ever be 2 parties. There is no way around it. A 3rd party cannot exist.
With the Electoral College, I agree completely.
A new study shows. Nate, does the Republican Party believe in democracy? It's a simple question.
A banana republic? You mean like South America bananas?
Can't vote your way out. You absolutely can vote your way out of Capitol.
I'm doing it right now. Yep.
But it involves everybody. So you just are you're just a burn it all downer. You might as well move on, Nate, because there's no more conversation to be had about that. If you believe that there is no point in anything, this is not the place for you. No offense. You know, I don't mind having conversations, but if that is your perspective, There is no conversation for us to be had, because I don't believe in just giving up, because that's what you're doing. Malcolm X warned me of y'all.
Oh, Jesus, that's rude, Nate.
Okay. Well, that sums it up, Nate.
CIA does not own the Electoral College.
Oh my goodness. I can't do
They're
it.
coming out late today. Normally this is the 10 to 11 hour when we get the real
Yeah.
crazies.
I try to come in when, they're all done. They're all on their coffee break.
No, the crazies, I guess, were asleep earlier. They're coming out now.
Coming out.
I get being hopeless, but damn, yeah. I mean, and again, I say this with an understanding of, I understand of a reality that I understand why there are so many people that are hopeless. So many people. There are a lot of people that have done a lot of work to try and fix the problem, right? Like, they've run for office, they've tried to organize, they've tried to have conversations, they've believed in people that are running for office, and we've all been failed by so many of them. What do you want me to do? Vote till I'm blue in the face? Well, yes, to an extent, I want you to vote, because everyone should vote. But what we need to do is get more people to vote and actually hold people accountable, especially in the primaries. The reason that we are where we are is because a majority of people only vote in the general election. The way you get change, especially in a party that as a whole believes more like you do. So let's say you believe in at least the overarching, what the Democratic Party says they believe in. Whether or not they all follow it, that's a different statement. But if you believe, like I do, that all people, no matter your race, religion, gender, or identity, deserve rights, respect, dignity, and safety, and I believe that the Democratic Party, while has massive flaws, much more closely aligns with those statements than anyone in the Republican Party does, then my job at that point is to support and get more people that think the same way, that believe that, into office. And that means primarying the ones that are in office that aren't doing that. So are Democrats ready? It doesn't matter if Democrats are ready. Democrats is just a corporation. Are people ready? Are Americans ready? That's the question.
Absolutely. One more thing I would just add very quick,
Yeah.
would be, in this country with our history, how everything was set up, we do go in cycles. And I feel like right now we've seen a lot of things that we've seen in the past, but people don't remember it or validate the history for it. I've been giving out this one particular example, which is George Washington. Everyone's like, "Oh, George Washington, he's great." Again with the voices. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry about that. So George Washington, right, first president of the United States. And they're like, okay, that's great. We love you. George Washington used all the power of his presidency and Congress to try to hunt down one of his slaves that escaped. He used the title as president, all of the things that were available to him to chase this woman down. Now, she did not get caught, but that was one of the biggest issues a lot of people had, was you're using your power to do something like this. Every president's got a little something here and there, but not at this level. So don't let me get down the road of, well, everybody does it. No. This is unique, but also it's like we can't just grandize what's happened in the past, right? So you want to make America great again because the past was great. Well, no, it wasn't.
It was great for certain people.
Ooh, Chosen One just set an all-time record. He just came in and just left.
Aaron wasn't feeling it today.
Damn, Chosen One, that's quick even for you. Normally you're in here for 10 minutes before you get bounced.
People are broke, high, drunk, angry, and illiterate and easily advertised to. To be fair, propaganda works everywhere. Like, we aren't special. This isn't what's happening now isn't special. There's a reason there are books, there are degrees practically on how to propagandize to other people. Like, that's called society, unfortunately. And yeah, we've got a lot of people that are broke, and because they're broke, they're also high, drunk, and angry. And we have done a bad job educating people, which is why there's a lot of illiterate people. It means we need to make changes. Again, it still comes down to us, those that for whatever reason understand what's going on. And that's assuming we're even all fully right. But for those of us that are pushing for change, we need to stop trying to yank people to us, and we need to learn to speak to them. We complain that people are quote unquote illiterate. Well, pretending to be an educated elite isn't going to get someone who maybe had less education to start listening to you. Making them feel like shit because I supposedly know more than you do isn't going to help anything. Now, again, does that mean every person in here is in the right situation, is in the right frame of mind, has had the right kind of experiences to be able to handle the talking to all of those kind of people? No, of course not. But we need more people to be willing to do that. We need to that doesn't mean we allow people to say whatever they want, but in the same respect, we need to stop just bashing the hell, because all we're doing is pushing people to every direction but the direction we need them to go if we really want change. There are some people in my life that I will never be close to, but I am in a situation with them where they know me. They actually trust me. And because of that, they may not listen to everything I say, but they listen more than they would have if I was a random person on the internet bashing them in the comments. That's the danger of the internet. I love what this internet gives. I love what we are allowed to do with these apps, with these, streaming services. But trust still has to get built if you want actual change. And that is one thing we are really crappy.
We've got so much trust that we have to rebuild for our departments, like the DOJ, the Inspector Generals,
Yeah.
all of the people who've just been fired. I don't know how long it's going to take for the DOJ to start getting some of that reputation back, because of where it was. It's just gone so far beyond what was appropriate.
Yep. Yeah. And that's part of the problem we're dealing with right now, right? One of the biggest issues that we have with fixing it is we don't trust the government, no matter what. They could be telling us the truth. I mean, anyone who's, if you are a Republican and like anything someone who calls himself a Democrat says, you probably are going to sit there and question it, at least to some extent. The same goes for anyone that leads on the left. Anything that this administration says, I don't believe. Because nothing has shown me that they're worthy of me trusting them. And it doesn't mean when a Democrat gets in, I'm just going to start believing them. I don't trust any of them right now. I don't trust our government. I don't trust our state government. I don't trust our federal government. I barely trust local government.
What about the people? Do you trust the people that put them into office?
No.
And that's a shame. And it's a natural result of being lied to. And again, using an historical reference, we've seen this before. Americans' trust in government was at a low ebb after Vietnam and Watergate as well. And it took a lot of rebuilding, and we're going to have to do that all over again.
And a whole bunch of new law came out as well to
Yeah,
try
in
to fix that
74.
problem. I feel like that's what's going to be coming down is we're going to see that huge lift in legislation to try to make sure this doesn't happen again in certain ways. So I'm waiting on that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a 1974 post-Watergate reform movement occur again,
Heck
probably in
yeah.
2029.
And
Go Watergate.
I,
Oops, sorry.
I think, I've said it before, we are in the midst of a societal shift. The internet, by the very nature of what it has brought to how we interact with each other, how we disseminate information, how we can do things, has by its very nature changed everything. It's changed everything about our society. And we have got, what we are experiencing is two different groups, millennial, Gen X, and or millennial, Gen Z, boomer, Gen X, which I know obviously there's, I'm Gen X, but you've got two different ways of viewing the world and experiencing the world crashing into each other right now. And you've got the older generations that are saying, this worked for me, this is what should work for everyone. And you got the younger generation saying, that's not true anymore. And the reality is, it does not matter how hard you work. Unless you are lucky. When I mean lucky, I mean generational wealth. You will barely be able to survive in this country. That's just a reality. You can sit here and say, oh, they just need to work harder all you want, but that's not true. The only reason my family is doing as well as it is because we got lucky. I've been working for over 30 years of my life. I've been working since I was 13 years old. Worked all through high school, all through college. Most millionaires are not self-made. That is a twisted
Wrong.
That is a twisted lie. If you look at how those people grew up, what kind of a life they grew up in, they already started a few rungs up. So no, they are not self-made, they didn't start at nothing and then build it up. No, they started a few rungs up on that ladder. And
There was an interview. There was an interview exactly like that, Mike, where there was a guy, I can't remember what state it was, and he was like talking out on the floor, like, we don't need to give you any money for small businesses. And so the small business people are just saying, well, hey, we need the money. What are we supposed to do if you're not going to give us money for small businesses? And then the representative was like, well, just ask your mom and dad for it.
And I disagree. Starting in the middle class does mean you're not self-made. In 2026, it absolutely does mean you are not self-made. Because we live in a country right now where over 50% of this country cannot afford to pay their bills, are having to decide whether or not they're going to pay their rent, or whether they're going to get their medication, or whether they're going to eat. Most millionaires never made over 80K a year. Okay. Again, you're talking wealth, which is different. And the reason that they were able to put money in and become millionaires was because they lived in a time when you could make a cost of living with one job and then put stuff in things like 401k and get a house when it was only like 50,000 and now it's worth over 600,000. Like, wealth is totally different. My house is worth 3 times what it cost. I'm closer to being a millionaire than I've ever been in my entire life. And it's because I got lucky.
Yikes, I'm checking the time. It's 11 o'clock, my friends. I do need to go.
Okay.
Thanks for
Okay.
having me up. Always fun. Great to see you,
Always fun.
Scott. You too,
Anytime.
Mike.
Always
Have a
great
great
seeing
one.
you, Di. Have a great weekend, dear.
You too.
Again, it's this whole, it's luck and hard work. Again, saying that it's the hard work, yeah, obviously they worked. There's no question that they worked. There's even no, I'm not even gonna sit here and try and argue that they didn't work hard. But it doesn't change the fact that someone who grew up, who started life, let's say before the 2000s, or even before that, around when I was born in the 70s, grew up in a time where you could survive on things like one paycheck. Because we could survive on one paycheck, we could do a little extra work and put money away and put money into stocks or 401ks or whatever. It got me to a point where I had money. So after the 2008, banking crisis, I was able to get a house for a decent price with low interest rates. No one's going to get that right now. And that's the point. You can sit here and say, oh, there's more millionaires. Well, yeah, there's also more houses worth that cost $1 million now that only cost like 100,000 when they bought them. So of course there are more millionaires now. Because again, that statement is based on wealth, and part of wealth is your things like property and your 401k. Should we give people subprime mortgages again? No, we should pay people a living wage. We also shouldn't bail out wealthy people. Yeah, subprime mortgages are already back with a vengeance. 401k is the best it's ever been. That doesn't help people survive right now, Eddie. That's the part you still don't get. I've got 401k. My wife's got a 401k. Yeah, they're doing great. You want to know what's not happening? Me retiring. You know what's not happening for Gen Z? Retirement. Their 401k doing well means nothing if they can't afford to eat.
Not only retirement for Gen Z, how the hell are they going to buy a house?
Yeah.
The cost of living for Gen Z as a percentage of income is much worse than it was for us when we were growing up.
Teddy, I need you to listen to me. 401k means nothing if you can't afford to eat and you are 30, 40, 50 years away from retirement. Grow the fuck up. People are cashing in their 401ks right now. Get a better job. Oh my gosh. See, this is what I'm talking about, Scott. Teddy is the exact point that I am saying.
Yep.
Someone who literally, because they think that they were somehow special. I make over $1 million a year and I'm doing it on my own. No, you're not. You weren't doing it on your own. That's bullshit. Nobody makes money on their own. It's literally impossible. Unless you are literally printing the money and putting it in your bank account, you aren't making money on your own. Don't pretend that you're somehow special. And you did it right. You didn't. You got lucky. All I know is I'm living the dream. And all I know is you're a piece of shit. Because you obviously don't care about anybody else other than yourself. So if your dream is to be a inhumane piece of shit, then great. Good for you. Good for you. That feels like a pretty shitty life to me. That's just dumb.
And here it comes. There we have it. There we have it. Thanks, Teddy. I was waiting for that.
All you did was prove my point of my last statement.
Game, set, match.
Literally
all over.
no
Thanks,
better.
Teddy.
Could not do better than to prove my point than that statement right there. Oh, people are wild.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Okay, guys. So it is time for me to head out. I'm going to ask again, because I'm sure there are new people in. If you have not gone over to my Tube account, please go over there and watch, especially the most recent one, but watch any of them. Help people get visibility and name recognition. But please watch the one I just did where I interviewed Adam Dunnigan, former CIA, about Iran. It's a great episode. Please share it. I want to get it out there. I think it's a episode that has the potential of being good for a lot of people if they can hear it.
Mike,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, I'll interject here
Sure.
just a bit on it. That Adam Dunnigan is running for Congress in the 8th District in Virginia. I think it's one of Mike's best efforts ever. And if you're wondering, this guy is an expert in foreign affairs. He was a Marine. He has a master's from Harvard in international relations. He worked for the CIA, and he worked for the CIA on the Iran desk. And that almost the entire video is talking about the war. He has perspectives on that I think anybody who is interested in the war should watch. It's really that good. I can't recommend that one enough.
Thank you. So have a great weekend. I'll be back on Monday, and we'll just keep doing what we're doing and hope that we can survive all of this. A lot of cool stuff going on. If you're not part of the Discord, join the Discord. Please follow Twitch, YouTube, whatever you're in. Feel free to watch from all of them. It's all different. It's all good. Just trying to grow this movement. So any help you guys can give is to make it possible for me to do this for a living. I would appreciate it more than you possibly can know. If you know people that would be interested in being a part of this movement, it would mean a lot to me. All right, guys. Have a great day. You guys are amazing. Just so we are. Love you all very much. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Remember to sing, laugh, dance, and smile. Do something that makes you happy. Bye, guys.